World Tour of the Gulf took place in 1989. It was a time when it was becoming increasingly apparent of the importance of Abu Dhabi and Dubai in terms of global trade. So the couple went on a charm offensive. This was 10 years after the Queen had first been to visit. So they pretty much replicated her visit. They went to visit their royal counterparts in the UAE, in Kuwait, in Saudi, in Oman and Bahrain, and they really immersed themselves in the local culture. They ate in people's homes, they stayed in the royal palaces, and they met the women of the household. Diana created an iconic fashion moment when she stepped down from the plane in Dubai. She was wearing a high-waisted electric blue sheathed pencil skirt, a matching white jacket with blue lapels, but most interesting of all was the turban hat that she was wearing. Not only did it fit in with cultural sensibilities because it completely covered her hair, but it was a real style moment. The most poignant moment of the trip was when royalty met royalty. Sheikh Zayed rolls out the red carpet for Prince Charles and Princess Diana, and for the first time we see Princess Di looking slightly unsure of herself. So Sheikh Zayed is the one who goes forward, grasps her hand very warmly and greets her. He asks Prince Charles about the health of his mother, and Prince Charles replies by making a joke about the weather in Britain.
And when we come from Britain, all we're looking for is the sun.
There is one moment where Sheikh Zayed then turns to the princess and tells her about an island he's developing.
He has here an island that he has developed himself. There are 10,000 sites of
Clearly we know with hindsight that this island was Sibanias, but of course neither icon lived on to see it actually come to fruition. Behind closed doors, a rift had already appeared between Prince Charles and Princess Diana. It later emerged that problems in the marriage started as far back as 1985, so 4 years before their actual visit to the UAE. By the time of their visit in March 1989, the strains were clearly showing. You can see in some of the photographs, the strain is already starting to show. And Diana looks quite unhappy at times and estranged from Charles. Despite her inner turmoil and the obvious problems in her marriage, Diana was a consummate performer. She was always great at putting a brave face on it, by showing her compassion, by wearing her heart on her sleeve. And that's what warmed the public to her. That's why she earned the nickname the Queen of Hearts. Whereas Charles could sometimes come across as quite socially awkward and has a reputation as being a bit of a stuffy Brit, Diana was always the one who could charm the socks off anyone she met. She certainly set the sheikhs at ease. We also see her at the camel races, where she appears to be having a whale of a time with Sheikh Tahanoun and Sheikh Nahyan bin Mubarak. We see her laughing and joking with Sheikh Mohammed at a reception at the British consulate in Dubai. One of the most charming moments of the visit was when Princess Diana and Prince Charles were welcomed into Sheikh Zayed's private majlis. This is the majlis that had the iconic blue and white embroidery. We see it in a lot of the older pictures of Sheikh Zayed in the early days of the UAE. Completely by coincidence, Diana happened to be wearing a blue and white floral shawl kameez that completely matched her surroundings. She looks totally at ease, and she looks completely awestruck and overwhelmed by the hospitality she's shown. But as we all know, this is typical hospitality of the Middle East. Sheikh Zayed and Diana came from different parts of the world. They had huge amounts in common. They were both much loved public figures, and while both have now passed on, they continue to be adored to this very day.
Oh, very well.
With my parents, particularly after the pass on to Johannes, they're very, very social.
Thank you very much. Then how is Her Majesty?
Much as you feel for having you.
Yalla.